Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Hoops Hidden Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones, episode number 52. Thank you once again, everybody that's been locked in with us for this past year and a half. We're going to keep doing as we do, keep educating, keep bringing on a lot of good coaches to drop good knowledge about the recruitment process and talk about their programs. For a lot of you guys that aren't familiar with some of these coaches, this is their opportunity to tell you about their programs, and we're going to talk about some important things as well. Tonight's show, again, another great show. Good buddy of mine from my hometown as well. Got Coach Easton Bozzoli. How you doing today at Union University?
What's going on?
Man, I'm good, man. We bump into each other from time to time at these live periods, and one thing I like to bring you on because people don't understand the difference between a D2 and D1, especially from a works, is really just a lot of times just the budget. But you're in these gyms just as much as D1s are. You're looking at JUCOs, you're looking at high school, you're looking at post grad. There's really not that much difference, correct?
No, I mean, especially depending on the level of Division I. I mean, I think one of the biggest things that people don't understand is that most of the time that we're recruiting against a bunch of Division I's and are often going to watch the same players and try and figure out what level they are and I think you see it all the time. You see a bunch of Division I guys going Division II and Division II guys going Division I, and there's rarely the jumping of multiple levels. Like you said, I think there's so many different levels at Division I, and really there's levels at Division II too. There's not just it's more similar in that sense than I think people think. I think one of the more difficult things is that sometimes you've got different levels of resources in the same conferences in Division II, where in Division I, most of the schools I think are have at least similar resources, at least scholarship wise. But yeah, we're in the same gym all the time. So there's definitely levels where if I'm watching the same guy as a Power 5 school, one of us is wrong. That's what we always say. That's what we always say. One of us is wrong. But just about everybody else, there's can be guys that can be fringe guys here and there, and I think so much matters about fit too. If we're looking at a guy that there's been multiple guys that have multiple Division I offers but don't fit our style, and they may be great at this Division I, but for us, they wouldn't be that good. Just so I think a lot depends on that too.
Well, and man, there's one thing I want to bring up as well, and I have no shame in saying this. There are a lot of high D2s because you're considered a high D2 because you're a perennial D2 tournament team on a regular basis. And you guys, and nobody talks about this, but it's not far-fetched for you to knock off a D1.
Yeah, I mean, it gets harder and harder to schedule D1s. The last time we played a D1, we played at Austin P and took them to the end. I think we lost by 2 or 4. One of our guys had 42. I mean, I think and again, it can be on any given night, just like anything else. I mean, obviously, I think there's definitely times where you have Division II guys are excited, are really excited about those nights when they get to play a Division I team. And I know there's I would assume because most of the time they're early on, the D1s are excited as well, just because they finally get to get on the court, and a lot of times those are exhibition type matchups, so it's early. But yeah, I mean, you see it every year. You see it every year where D2s beat D1s, and I mean, I remember, I think it was Barry that beat Auburn a few years ago, or maybe took them down to the wire or something, and Auburn was competing to win the SEC that year. So it's just like on any given night, if the shots are falling, anybody can compete with anybody in men's basketball, which I think makes it exciting.
Well, and let me get your take on this. I think with the portal, Easton, I think it's going to get even more competitive
Yeah.
as well because you have so many kids in the portal, then you got kids in the JUCO ranks as well, and there's just not enough spots for everybody. So it's
Right.
going to make Division II basketball even tougher. So it's not going to be a big shock in the future when you start seeing D2s knock off D1s because there's going to be some really good kids that have to transfer and quote unquote drop down. But, to be honest, when we start talking low D1 and high D2, I don't see that much of a difference. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you why. I went to the first round of the NCAA D2 tournament in the Southeast region. So you had
Yep.
Queens, you had UNC Pembroke, you had Augusta, who went to the national championship,
Yeah, they
and
were
you
really
had
good.
Columbus State. There were some really good teams. And one of the first things I said when I sat at the media table, I said, there's not that much difference between these teams, and I won't even call out any conferences because I don't want nobody texting me, giving me a headache. But
That's right. You got to be careful.
I have to be careful. There wasn't that much difference between that basketball and some other conferences that were low D1. There was not that much difference at all,
Yeah.
especially like Queens and Pembroke and Augusta. I mean, Augusta, they had one of the best big men, not only in D2, but that Tyshawn he got a chance to go pro.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Augusta. The first time I saw them was when I was just watching the national championship game, and I mean, they are really really good, and I know Queens is every year really good, and Pembroke is every year really really good, and I think especially I think when you look at the high D2s, I think the high D2s can compete in every low major Division I conference.
Absolutely. I
Can't tell
back
me,
that 100%.
yeah, you can't tell me that Augusta is not competing, not just competing, but I think Augusta this year, you look at them and I could have seen them easily competing to win some low major leagues. They had. Because I think probably the biggest difference most of the time, I don't think is as much in guard play. I think guard play is pretty similar. It's the bigs. I think the bigs are typically the biggest difference. The size and really probably as much as anything, the depth at that position from league to league, because there's only so many 6'8" guys out there. You see a lot of Division IIs making money off of that 6'5" 4-man. That's just a dog and probably should be playing Division I, but didn't get it because of his size or whatever it is that's kind of fallen behind with him. But you see teams making a living off of those guys in Division II. But yeah, I mean, you look at it for sure. I think there are multiple leagues that I think we would have competed in this year. That I think there's, all the top teams in our league have the ability to compete in. Again, I think the depth probably isn't there in most D2 leagues that you see at the Division I level. But the top teams, for sure.
Definitely. And now I want to bring something up because people are so, I'm not going to say ignorant, but just don't have an idea when it comes to this. Can you please expand on this? There are guys from Union and other D2s that go play professional ball. Can you please expand?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've got I think Coach Niven's been at Union for 25 years and has coached over 40 guys that have signed pro. I think our number right now is we've got 19 and might be adding to that soon. 19 guys in the last 10 years that have signed contracts.
19? Wow.
Yeah, 19 in the last 10. I mean, we've had a couple guys, like we had a couple guys turn them down too. Some of the lower leagues too, that you typically would have a guy sign in, kind of got hurt with COVID. But I mean, we had an All-American this year that was being told that he's got a shot at the G League. Talking to other people overseas that felt like he was a few years away in the right spots from getting a chance in the Euro League, which is just crazy high level basketball. I expect that we'll probably have people in our gym this year watching a couple of our seniors to evaluate them. That I think will be a really good exposure. But we've teams in our league every year. Every year there's you're watching guys in the Gulf South Conference that are signing pro contracts and going to play overseas and live out a dream. And again, we have had a few guys that have gotten some G League opportunities too out of our league, and it's been a while, but I know there's been some guys in our league that have gotten a shot at getting on an NBA roster.
Getting some 10-day contracts.
Again, I'm not acting like that's common. That's super rare.
Yeah.
But it has happened, and the Gulf South Conference, and I know the Sunshine State's the same, and I know the Peach Belt's the same. It's loaded with guys that are gonna sign contracts. Loaded with guys. So
and California, the California League, what's that? The CCAA.
Yeah.
They're good. The Lone Star is pretty good. The MIA,
like you said, the guy from the big from Augusta, you can't tell me he's not going to get a shot at some really high level stuff.
Yeah, Tyshawn is a monster.
Yeah, the point guard from Northwest Missouri, I'm sure he's going to get something crazy.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really, really, really good players that are pro players, and I think that matters a lot. We talk to our guys all the time because most of the guys that we recruit say they want to play pro, right? So, I think it's a selling point for us that we've had that many guys sign pro contracts, but it's also like I tell guys all the time too. If you say that, you're now going to get held to that standard too. You say you want to be a pro, you're going to get held to the standard of a guy that has that in his dream. So,
and we both can speak from this, and with us being from where we're from. The PSAC conference is also a very good D2 conference as well. IUP is a perennial power.
Oh, IUP is crazy. IUP is crazy. I actually grew up knowing about Coach Lombardi pretty well, and met him at the Final Four this year, and actually played against his son a couple times here and there at AAU. So I've known about IUP for a while, and IUP IUP is impressive. IUP is impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And that just goes to, I really want people to start to at least educate themselves on D2 because, Union's a great program. Augusta's a great program. Northwest Missouri is a great program. IUP is a great program. Chico State out in California is a great program. Like, there are some perennial, very good D2 programs. And like, even to your conference, like you mentioned the Peach Belt, but the Gulf South is a great conference as well. And people don't, if you ask people, hey, do you know about the Gulf South? They'll be like, no.
Yeah. I think in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, most of those kids have a decent idea about the Gulf South just because we have so many. But the more I talk to kids in Georgia, and the further we get towards where it's different leagues that kind of own the state a little bit more, it's definitely a little different. But I remember, I'm just 10 years out from being a high school recruit, and I remember having very little knowledge about Division II as well. I played Division II basketball. And I remember coming out as a high school kid and being as ignorant as half the kids I talked to are. I didn't have a clue. I had a couple low major type of offers coming out, and when I ended up going to a Division II school, I thought, oh man, this is gonna be easy. I thought this was gonna be, I'm about to run it. It's gonna be thinking I was hot stuff, and it wasn't that. I realized quickly, how good I had to be to get minutes and to play and to try and win, and I mean, there's not as much education on it because
Yeah.
it's not as talked about as much. And it's also, I mean, the other day I'd be lying if I said I know that half the kids out here are, have D1 dreams and want to be able to go home and tell their boys they're Division I basketball players, and don't realize that you'd have a hard time getting minutes on our team.
But they take that as an insult, though. You know that, right? They take
you
that
gotta
as
work.
an insult.
You got to work. Hey, they take it as an insult, but I know a lot of guys on our team that would take it as an insult that they think that they would just show up and get a bunch of minutes. Like it's so I think I go back. I got to remind myself often because sometimes I'll sit there and I can. It's easy to get critical of kids and what they think, but I got to remind myself often. Like I was the same dude. I was the same dude when I was 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, I was the same dude that I took forever to commit, and I took forever trying to think about. Well, man, I mean, I just keep on waiting, hoping that one that I really want comes, and not realizing the level that good Division II basketball is. So I got to remind myself often because these are just kids.
I was the
They're
same
just
way,
kids,
man.
and they don't really get it completely yet, and they don't know. Just like I didn't know. I had no clue. I had no clue how March Madness in Division II worked. At that point. And that's one of the biggest things that I start telling guys now. When I'm recruiting them is I ask them, hey, do you know how this works? Because it matters that the Gulf South Conference is going to have a bunch of teams in March Madness every year.
Yes, it does.
It matters that we're not just a one bid league. That year in, year out, you're going to have 3 to 5 teams in the region every year. So again, I had no clue. I looked at the record of the school, and that was like, all right, that's all that mattered to me. Not all right. What are my if we get up? Say we win the regular season, but we get upset in the tournament. Am I still playing in the postseason? So I think again, I got to remind myself all the time because I was the same dude.
And I was as well. Let's not get it twisted. I was the same guy. It was you had those TV dreams just like everybody else as well. But like you said, the best thing kids can do is go play open run at one of these gyms if they let you play. You will quickly find out, like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. This isn't what I thought it was. Like you said, you're going to have that chip on your shoulder. Oh, I'm about to come in here and throw 30 on these guys. That's incorrect. That's very incorrect. And I don't care if it's Augusta, Union, the majority of D2s have D1 level kids. And now in these days, a lot of them have D1 transfers, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I think, there's obviously there's D1 transfers. I tell guys all the time, like our roster is loaded with D1 players. And it has to be if you want to win at a high level in Division II, you have to have a decent amount of guys that are good players in Division I. And I think too, you've got the D1 transfers, and there's a lot of there can be a lot of complaining about the portal. I look at it like it's another opportunity to get really good players, but it's also like I look at it like, man, we have a better shot now than maybe ever to get even better high school players, even better JUCO kids. There's a bunch of guys that I'm not sure we would have a chance at if it weren't for the portal that I'm talking to now that are high school guys and that are JUCO kids that are really, really, really good players. And with the portal, it's like, yeah, there's some things that we could all complain about and say, but I look at it like it's an opportunity. Like this is an opportunity for us to get better players than we ever have.
Absolutely. And I'll expand on that because this year we had between D1 through D3, there was 3,000 kids in the portal for men's basketball. So yes, to your point of what you're saying, there are a lot of good kids still out there. Like, I'll take it because now it's June and they're like, okay, I don't see this happening on the D1 level now. And sometimes, and kids that are watching, let me say this as well. One of the big things I am huge on is if Coach Bozzoli calls you, don't blow him off. Don't be disrespectful because you may have to have that humble pie in June and call him back and be like, Coach, how you doing? And depending on the type of guy he is, he may or may not entertain it. Now, if he can play, he may reluctantly do it, but it's just one of those things. I don't care if it's a D3 or NAI or whoever, you always are respectable when a coach is giving you the
Yeah.
opportunity and the privilege to play college basketball. Because as we all know, what 3% of high school athletes go on to play college?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I for the first point of that, you can't hold grudges when you're in the recruiting process. Can't do that. Kids are kids, and at the end of the day, it's a big decision for these kids too. I think sometimes we can be a little harsh on them when they're still just trying to figure it out, make a big decision. So we can't hold grudges in the recruiting process. We can hope we still have a scholarship for those type of guys.
Absolutely.
That's probably the main thing that I would say on that is that, when you've got guys that wait a long time, kind of hoping for that dream scholarship that they've been waiting on. That's the only risk is that the people that really want you, they might be out of a scholarship by the time you're ready to come around. But yeah, you can't hold grudges. Can't hold grudges because we all got to get it. And with everybody with how many people are in the portal, I mean, it's all about how can we get relationships to, there's going to be some kids that you can't do anything to keep them from leaving or something like that. But we're really, really big on relationships. And if a guy says he wants to leave, we want it to be a really difficult decision for that dude because we want that guy to understand, like, I'm not sure you can go somewhere and be more loved by your coaches, true authentic love than by Coach Niven and how he treats our guys and how he cares for them and stuff like that. So there's a lot of guys out there and there's a lot of talent left. That's probably the only thing I hate about it, is there are going to be a lot of guys that don't find a home just because that's because of it. That's probably the only negative thing I've got about it, because there will be a lot of guys that don't end up getting a spot, that they thought they might have had at one point.
So I want you're leading me into my next question. Does Union are they full scholarships, or do you mix it with academic, Pell, and athletic scholarships?
Yeah, so almost all of our guys are full guys. So we rarely ever do like a partial. We don't really do partial. We're fully funded.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we don't. I mean, I'm not going to say we've never done partial scholarships, but for the most part, if you're on scholarship at Union, you're probably on a full. So you're not paying for anything here. That's a necessity. You're going to get room, board, tuition, meals.
That's big right there.
So, yeah.
And I always like to keep a list of the fully funded D2s, because that's always the misconception that if you go D2, like, there are fully funded D2s, and sure, there's some good ones that aren't fully funded and they prefer you have grades or Pell eligible, whatever the case may be. But from what you're telling me, if the majority of them are fully funded, that means, and I love to bring this up, if you do qualify for academic money, that means it's going back in their pocket, correct?
I no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works for us.
Okay.
I don't know if the academic money now there's
not academic
different, there's different academic stuff that can help a guy maybe get some money back, but not like if our academic scholarships are given to a guy here, if anything, I don't know if you've heard coaches talk about kind of stacking. So that could get us to basically an extra guy on full or something like that.
And that's what I wanted to touch on. Let me clarify myself when I say that. So
Yeah.
when I say the academic merit money, that's outside of the union's academic money.
Okay.
So
you're talking
outside merit money. So let's say I come to you and I say, Coach Mazzoli, I have a 4.2 GPA or 3.8. Let's just say I'm a high academic guy. You offer me a scholarship, but let's say my church gives me $1,500 in a scholarship. Let's just say I apply to, I know Foot Locker has a $30,000 scholarship. Yeah. And I'm just bringing up numbers. And let's just say you give me a full, and that outside merit money, let's just say it comes up to $6,000 to $7,000. Do you try and stack off of that, or is that in the kids?
No, I don't think we stack off of outside money. Yeah, okay. Outside money. I'm pretty sure that goes right to the kid's pocket if they get outside scholarship. So
and there you go. And then so I always like to bring that up because that's one of the things on this show I want to get people more adept to is to apply, because there's over $1 billion of outside money that goes unclaimed. And even if you are a scholarship guy, hey. And
that's even 2 extra meals on your own right there.
Exactly.
Hey, you don't have to pay for the cafeteria, but I know it. The cafeteria might get a little old. The little restaurant on campus might get a little old. You might enjoy another spot at Chipotle or something.
Now let's be honest as well. That guy, let's say he can play, and you have the opportunity, and he's worth a union scholarship or whatever the case may be. And let's just say, he qualified and you guys can stack off of this, prospect. Does he become, let's just say you have two guys that you have one guy that isn't that from an academic standpoint, but he's still a decent student. And then you have another guy that's this, where you have the opportunity to stack and possibly grab that other kid. Does he become more attractive to you guys?
Yeah. I mean, and again, like a union degree is a great degree. We're a very, very high academic school. So we care about academics a lot in the recruiting process. That doesn't mean that we don't take some guys that may struggle in the classroom a little bit, because we do a lot to come alongside those guys and help them. But if it's close between two guys, and you're trying to make a decision, all right, like which guy do we like more? Which guy do we want to give an offer to first? Which guy do we want to get on campus first? If it's close, it's going to the kid with the good grades and the good scores. It's not even a debate, because that guy does. I mean, he opens up all sorts of avenues for us, whether it's scholarship wise or if it's just, hey, this is a guy that I get to spend a whole lot more time building a relationship with, in the sense of just hanging out and chopping it up, or spending more time in the gym than having him sit in one of these chairs behind me, or spending extra time in study hall, or making sure he's going to class, or making sure he's doing his homework, because he's got that track record of being a good student. So that definitely matters. It definitely matters.
So, and man, one of the other things, I want to touch on a couple other things as well. Union has grad degrees, right?
Yeah, so we'll have a couple guys this year that are getting their MBA, and our MBA here is it's got the highest accreditation offered in the world. So we have the same accreditation as Harvard, Stanford.
Really?
Only 5% of business schools have them, and ours is one of those 5%. So it's high level stuff.
Okay. So do you take grad transfers as well?
We do. Yeah, we do. So we're looking at a couple grad transfers now, and because of this COVID stuff, I mean, we had 3 guys this past year that were all in grad school. So they were living a good life. It was like living a pro life. They were hardly ever doing class stuff because the workload goes way down. You're in less classes. Right now, our MBA is majority online. So they were living a pro lifestyle, getting a really, really good degree. So
yeah, you can't beat that. So let's talk about real quick your your roster for this year coming up. What are you guys looking like for next season?
Yeah, right now we've got we'll have a decent amount of new guys coming into next year. We've got about 3 returners back. We've got 3 guys on our roster that are coming back that have been all conference at some point in their career. So we've got a good point guard that dealt with some back issues this year that's coming back. His name's JT, and he was a freshman of the year for us his a couple years ago. We've got a 4-man returning that was all conference for us this past year. That's a bully, and we've got another couple veteran wings and Ty and JC that have had some really good careers for us as well. And then we've got a couple 5-men too that are going into year. They're one of those weird guys that their redshirt freshman year was COVID year. So they're going into year 4 at Union, but they both have 3 years to play. So they're going to be able to get 6 years if they want it. So we've got a decent amount back. We've signed some good players that we're really excited about. We're still looking for a couple. So we're still looking for a couple that we'll probably sign. I bet we signed 3 more still.
So you guys are big on red shirts too, then?
Especially guys with length. Yeah, especially guys with length. I think there's a ton of value in having guys that can be in the program for a few years and kind of get the idea of how you work and the system of what you're doing on the court, and just get that feeling of being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I think having that extra year definitely helps. So we're definitely more prone to redshirt, bigs that might need a little bit development either in the weight room or skill wise.
Okay.
But if the right prospect came out to redshirt a guard, we would do that too. It just depends on the needs that year and if you can afford to do it.
Gotcha. And one of the last things I really touch on, but you just really expounded on it. You guys are big on player development. Have to
be. Yeah, we have to be. We care about that as much as anything. We can't look at guys as a finished product. And we don't want guys that see themselves as a finished product. One of the main things that we ask coaches and people around recruits is we're going to ask them, are they tough? Are they coachable? And do they like being in the gym? Gotcha. Because if any of those are no's, they're quickly either removed from the list, depending on which one, or they're moved down the list. We care a lot about guys that like to be in the gym and want to get extra work in, because if you look at probably any level, but as much our level as anything, is the guys that live in the gym, and the guys that love it, and the guys that want to be coached and get better and improve on their weaknesses and the things that they're great at. They want to continue to be great at that. Those are the guys that end up being all conference, all region, all American type guys.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, again, we're Division II. So honestly, outside of a few Power Fives, I'm sure none of us are just getting our pick of whoever we want. So
you gotta develop them.
We're excited about every guy that we've signed, and we're excited about every guy on our team right now. But everybody that's coming in is we've got a bunch of things that we want to work on and get better. And we sent our guys home a few weeks ago for the summer, and they all went home with goals for the summer and goals to come in with next year. And that's basketball stuff, that's weight room stuff. And then really, the last thing that's big for us with player development is we're going to spend an hour to probably 30 minutes to an hour a week, where we're going to do something that's outside of basketball that we still consider player development. Whether that's, we've had guys come in and talk about personal finance before. We've had local Fellowship of Christian Athletes leaders come in and talk to our guys. We'll lead stuff as coaches. That's a lot of it will be biblically based stuff that we're going to spend, trying to grow the man as well, and develop the man, so that, I think that's as important as anything, if not more important. And I think at the end of the day, it turns guys into better basketball players too. When you can get guys to be in a room and spend time with each other, and occasionally be vulnerable with each other, and develop those relationships that are going to transfer to on the court for sure. But
Life
continue
after
way further than
basketball.
that.
Yes, absolutely. And I like the sounds of that, man. And I want to leave on this note, man. How important is it for your guys to be better defensively than offensively?
And that's probably been one of the biggest things that we've focused on in the last 4 years, in recruiting and really in coaching. So here I've kind of coached Niven after my first year here, kind of gave me the DC role, and said, hey, you got the defense, take care of it. And I mean, I know it's changed my mindset a ton. And a guy that leads our recruiting as well, of, we know we're year in, year out towards the top of our league on offense. Defensively, we've made a lot of strides in the last few years. I know we were up towards the top this year, defensively. And when you look at it, if you look at the way our league finishes every year and you go to the defensive numbers, you're probably going to be pretty close right there. I think the biggest thing that we hear from a lot of coaches is, hey, coach, this guy's a wing. He's a 6'8" wing that can, really shoot it, and he can put on the floor and do all this stuff. And it's getting a lot more common now for coaches not to be surprised when you ask, all right, well, who can he guard? Because that's the position he is whoever he can guard. If you can't guard your position, we're big on recruiting guys that can play multiple positions too. So that means guarding multiple positions. We definitely, man, we value that a lot. If we've got guys on our team that their minutes have either started off of defense and they've grown because they figured out a way to bring a lot more value on the offensive end as well, or they were really short minutes because they maybe could come in and be a spark on offense, but their minutes grew because they realized, all right, if we want to keep winning, or if I want to get minutes on this team, I better guard as well. And we're big on team defense too. So, we watch a lot of film. We spend a lot of time in making sure guys are in position, making sure, we're building a kind of not really a wall, but we're building a stronghold on the defensive end as a unit. And it's not just a one-sided thing. We actually have a kind of like a mantra that we repeat at the end of every practice. And one of the first things we say is we play relentless defense. That's huge in our on-court identity of what we're trying to be.
Man, and you guys, I mean, like I said, you guys run an A1 program. Forget the level. You guys do what you guys are supposed to do off the court with the young men. You do definitely what you're supposed to do on the court, because your record speaks for itself, with you all being a perennial power in D2, and people are very well aware of who Union University is. And you get a great degree. That's really what this all comes down to. That's the whole spiel. It's not, oh, they're just there for basketball, or they're a great academic school, but they really don't invest that much into their athletic program. No, you're getting everything that you need at Union University, man. And first of all, I'm always going to say I'm proud of you, man, because you're from back home, man. So I have to say, man, I'm proud of you to see where you're going, man. And you're definitely one of the up and coming stars, man. And, I'm sure we're going to see each other during live periods as usual.
I'm sure we will.
Because, we saw some good players last time, and I'm sure we'll see some more again.
Yeah.
As we discussing, that one, okay. What about this one? What about that one? I like to pick your brain as well. So, man,
Yeah.
are you going to the JUCO showcase when you come down here as well?
We'll see. We'll see. That is one of the things we got. There's so many. There's
Yeah.
so many different events, and that's
Yes.
probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest difference, right? It's me, our head coach, and another assistant. So it's we don't
Yeah.
have we don't get to cover quite as much as we'd like sometimes.
And that weekend, that's the big weekend in Atlanta. That
Everything.
first
Yeah.
weekend in
There's
July.
there's 7
Under
major events
Armour,
going on.
you got Under Armour, you got On the Radar, you got Hoop Scene, you
Yep.
have the All American JUCO Showcase, and there's a second JUCO Showcase that's going to be at Wheeler High School.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and catch them all. Are you coming to GBCA high school team camp?
We're trying to figure out how we're gonna divide up now. So we'll definitely be at the BCAT. That's in Memphis, about an hour from us.
Okay.
And I've always heard the Georgia team camp is awesome. I've always heard it's been amazing. So we haven't been out there yet, but I've heard really, really good things about it every year. So we're trying to figure out that schedule right now. We've got our own team camp next week, right before kind of all the state team camps take place. So we're finishing up that schedule here and trying to figure out where we're going to be after that. But I will say Union is a great spot. Like you said, Union, it's a unique place where, like you said, we've got the leadership on campus that is really, really high level and gives us the resources that we need to win at a high level. Plus you get an unbelievable degree. Like I said, with the business accreditation and that, we've got a guy in nursing right now, which I don't know how he's doing that. It's unbelievable. He's a genius. We've got a lot of good degrees and stuff like that here. But the support, from faculty and the leadership that we have on campus and the resources they give us is probably what the biggest reason why we're able to compete at the level we do.
Absolutely. And it shows too. Hey man, I thank you so much for coming on, man. I definitely have to bring you back, man. I feel like there's still so much more that we could talk about Union as well, man. But I know I'll be seeing you in the next 2 or 3 weeks, man.
Yep.
Pleasure having you, man. And I appreciate you coming on, Coach Mazzoli.
No doubt. Let's definitely do it again.
Definitely, man. You take care, okay?
All right, we'll see you soon.
Okay. That was Coach Easton Mazzoli, good friend of the show, man. And they do things the right way. Like, we could have easily talked another 25, 30, 40 minutes. My next guest, man, I'm telling you, if you guys don't know about Wofford's women's program, you're going to get a chance to know about them right now. A very well-ran program, and I feel like they don't get their due that they should. So I made it a point to bring them on the show. So today we have Coach Ashley Rayleigh Ross. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. I've been trying to get you on the show to get our schedules together for a while, and I'm glad it was able to happen. People in South Carolina definitely know about Wofford. People in Georgia know, but I wanted you to come on because I wanted people in the Louisiana, Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio, East Coast, and the West Coast to get to know more about your program. Now, fortunately, the Adidas stop was there in Spartanburg not too long ago. So, we saw some of the Wofford shirts out there taking a peek at some really good players, but I wanted you to tell us some more about Wofford as a university and as the women's program as well.
Well, first of all, I'm thankful to be on your show.
Thank
Thank you for having me. And I'm really thankful to be at Wofford. So I've joined at the end of April. So it's been a fantastic experience, and it's really a hidden gem in South Carolina. But no, our women's basketball program, I just got out of a wings workout. So the culture is amazing. I think everyone sees, our success and what's happened here at Wofford for women's basketball, but it's really the story and the culture behind it that is the real reason the success is there. So, and it starts with the community of Wofford and the support for women's basketball. So,
And do you have, so your team, they're staying for the summer, or was that optional?
well, right now we're here for I guess summer session 1, and so the
Okay.
girls will be here to help with camp and to do workouts. They are also taking 1 class, and
Okay.
then from there it's optional if they want to stay for session 2. Some girls stay here and they have a job on campus, and some girls do go home. Often Coach Garrity, our head coach, has to encourage them to go home because they love to be in this community.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for people that don't know, where exactly is Wofford at? Where's it located at?
We are in the heart of Spartanburg, which is truly a special place. I just got lunch today in the heart of I guess it's called the downtown Spartanburg.
Mhm.
So it's a cute little old town, just a good feel. And everywhere you go, there's Wofford gear.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is South Carolina is a very big women's basketball state.
Yes, definitely. Everyone here knows about women's basketball, and everyone here, I went to the grocery store over the weekend, and they're like, "Hey, you guys were really good last year," and I'm like, "Yeah." So it's pretty awesome, just for the support, not just within the community, but within the state. So.
Okay. Okay. So, like, do you guys offer graduate programs at Wofford as well?
Actually, we do not have a graduate school.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So no grad transfers then.
No, no, we do not take grad transfers. Let's see, this summer, Coach Garrity took his first transfer ever. From a school in the Big South. So she's actually an incoming sophomore.
So you're saying most of Wofford's players are homegrown and player developed then?
Yes, that is the beauty of our school because we have about just under 1,800 students, and we are competing and winning against schools that have over 20 to 30,000 students.
Absolutely. Yes, you guys are. That's impressive. And so that means you're not really even taking any JUCO transfers. You're taking high school and you're bringing them in and develop. Well, let me ask this: do you redshirt any of those players that need to
Uh,
be developed?
well, so our philosophy here is we must do what's best for the student.
Mhm,
You come to Wofford to get a Wofford degree because
mhm,
the way Wofford sets its students up for after the ball stops bouncing.
mhm.
So to come here and to redshirt a student wouldn't be what would be best for them long term because they would graduate early, or we would ask them to not take classes so they could stay. It just wouldn't be best academically for them to redshirt.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I did not know Wofford didn't have a grad school, and that's impressive that they're big on player development. So by the time those young ladies are juniors to seniors, pretty much wait, like you're saying, this summer they're probably spending the whole summer player development and getting them ready for the fall. Man, I like that. I really do. That's a, sometimes schools will give them the option. Oh, you can stay on campus or you can go home and work out, and they're trusting that they're going to go home and do that. But man, what you guys are doing, you guys are setting it up by ensuring that they stay at least summer session 1. Okay, you go
Yes.
home for summer session 2, and then come back, and it's right back on the grind in August or September. You guys start
Oh,
school.
we start at the end of August, right before Labor Day weekend.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And can you tell people the conference that Wofford's in that the people don't know?
We are in the Southern Conference, or also known as the SoCon.
SoCon.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you guys won the SoCon last year, didn't you?
Well, actually, we finished second in the regular season, and then I guess third in the tournament.
Okay. But you didn't you went to the tournament, right?
We went to the WNIT.
You did WNIT. And
Yes.
how did you fare in the WNIT?
Well, we did not win the first game, but however, this is the first time in Wofford women's basketball history that we have made it to preseason. So now our girls have gotten a taste, and
Okay.
so now it's we're very hungry. They're constantly talking about it. They're very hungry. So it's exciting to join and to be around.
Okay. And let me touch on that more. So this team, you got the roster for this year, the incoming roster. Let's talk a little bit about that. The returning starters, who do you have coming back?
So we have Lily Hatton, who is our returning post player. She was second team All SoCon last year. And
Okay.
then we will be returning Jackie Carmen, who she was first team All SoCon last year. She's our leading scorer. And I believe Lily was second in rebounds. So we're returning some favorable seniors and very good leadership. And then we brought in Rachel Rose she was the Big South Freshman of the Year. So she just recently transferred in. Yes.
Okay.
And
Wow.
then we have some underclassmen that they are ready, you know, when it's their time, they're ready to step into their spot. So, you know, they're working hard, and it's just a good place to be.
So let's talk about, and I want to talk about this for people that don't understand. Wofford recruits all over the country, not just in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. You're not just a regional recruiting school. You guys are trying to get some of those Adidas girls, some of those EYBL girls, some of those Under Armour girls. And let me be clear on this, and also some of those independent girls, because I don't want people to think that if you're not a shoe talent that you can't go to Wofford, because there's some very good girls on the independent circuit as well.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So we look for certain things in recruits, and I will have to say, in my experience recruiting with Wofford so far, a shoe brand is not one of them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys are okay with bringing somebody in that needs to be developed then?
Well, we really look for, and Coach Garrity talks about this a lot, we're really looking for someone that fits our culture, and that is someone who plays hard, someone who works hard, someone that we don't have to chase down to go to study hall, because academics matter. In order to be successful here at Wofford, academics have to matter to you because the curriculum is rigorous. So it's just you have to fit us, and we have to fit you, if that makes sense.
Is Wofford high academic?
Yes. So one of our young ladies from last year's team, she is actually going to med school. And then another young lady, she is going on a full ride to law school.
Wow.
Another young lady is she's continuing her basketball career at another school, because we do not have a grad school. And then another young lady, she's deciding, I guess, to do something in the basketball world. So we're still waiting on her. So academics are very big here. A lot of students come here for biology to go do things with, you know, we have another Lily Hatton that I mentioned. She's studying for her, I think it's the MCAT. She always gets on me because I don't say it properly, but she's studying right now. So she, you know, she has her life planned out for the next 10, 15 years, like you tell it. So people come here, students come here for a purpose.
Okay. Now, let me ask this as well. When you are out there on the recruiting trail, like you said, you're looking for somebody that fits the Wofford culture, but what makes you circle a prospect's name when they're out there playing? What are some of the characteristics and intangibles that you could say this person is a Wofford player?
Well, I think the first thing that we look for is their character, how they treat their teammates, how they treat their coaches. I know, reviewing our notes, a lot of it is eye contact with coach, you know, celebrating its teammates' success, those type of things. Now, obviously, we play fast and we shoot the ball. We shoot really well from three. I think we led the SoCon last year in 3-pointers made, and I think the next school had made 40 less than us. So we shoot it. So obviously you need to be able to get your shot off and have a shot to be able to have success here. So, but I think the biggest thing is playing hard all the time, because Coach Garrity expects this of you the moment you step on campus here.
Okay. And how important is it for them to come in with a defensive presence as well? I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody likes offense, but as we know, defense is going to keep you on the floor.
Oh, for sure. We do a lot of different things on defense. So Coach G was just talking about this. We've got to be able to guard this way. And, so it's very important for young ladies to come here knowing man-to-man defense and knowing how to guard ball screens and knowing the different tactics to use this.
Okay. So, with the SoCon being a very respectable conference, and you have some very good teams in the SoCon as well, what is it that you feel? I mean, just listen to what you have coming back. You guys will probably be one of the conference favorites to win not the tournament, at least the regular season. Let's start there.
Right. Well, definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite. So, but no, we're in a good place. But something I love about the girls here is they know that it is not given. This year, last year is over. This year means, we have to work hard. It's just nothing is given to us. So that is why they are so determined and constantly asking to get in the gym or constantly asking to do things basketball related. So I think we're in a good place, but it really depends on us.
Okay. And when I think of Wofford, and I'm listening to you talk about how big you guys are on player development, to me, it would seem like you guys would be a team that probably every 2 to 3 years are going to be really, really good because of the way you have the young system coming up. And so, like you said, this year's going to be a good year. You have those young ladies that are coming up from, freshmen and sophomores. Their time is coming, so they're going to get their feet wet this year, and they're going to follow in those all-conference players and pretty much learn from them. Then they'll probably get their shot, and, depending on that first year, how quickly they adjust. But then that following year is when they usually take off, right?
Yes, but I will say, I have to say, I thought this before I came here. And now that I'm here, I realize it's the recent graduating class. They graduated in May, at the end of May. They have set the tone for culture. And so now it's every class that's graduating after them. They are determined, we're going to keep the culture, but now we want to make it better. So as I guess it's normal to think there would be a drop off, they are determined, to not, I guess, go down and then have to come back up. They're determined to keep elevating. So
okay,
yeah,
I like that. And so you guys, you're having your elite camp. Was it this week, your elite camp?
We had it this past Friday and Saturday.
Okay. And with your elite camp, was there anybody that caught your eye? Not asking any names, but just any of the prospects. Did they catch your eye to say this could be a young lady that could be a Wofford candidate?
Well, we were very lucky. We had it was a great competitive camp. It was very intimate, a small number of recruits, and it was just, there was quite a few people that we walked away like, wow, they'll look really good in a Wofford jersey. So it's exciting. I think the way that we do our elite camp is different. It's more of a recruiting tool. You're not going to come here and be one of 200 players. So you actually get to work with our staff. You actually get to speak to Coach G. He works with you. He cheers for you. So he knows you by name. So it's a nice thing, I think, for our recruits. And I think it's even better for us.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you guys can be somewhat spoiled on, the Adidas team is located right there, correct?
No, there is an Adidas team close, yes.
Yeah, and so when I came up there to Spartanburg, I was like, oh, they're right down the street. I was like, they get their first picks on them. So I was like, oh, that's a cheat code right there. But hey, I would take full advantage of because that team is very good. They're very good. And they have some very high level players on that team as well. Sure. So in your own words, they would look good in the Wofford uniform.
Yes, for sure.
And I was just impressed because the facilities are very nice in Spartanburg as well. That was my first time in Spartanburg. Any other time I'm driving from Atlanta to Charlotte to get gas there or something like that. But that was my first time really. I was like, oh man, this is really nice. This is really nice. So you can tell, like you were saying, this is a basketball town and a basketball state. And sometimes a lot of people think of South Carolina. They're like, really? I'm like, man, no, they got really nice facilities. Really
For
nice.
sure. For sure. That basketball is valued here because you can see how nice the facilities are. There's effort put into valuing those.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. That was a very top-notch facility that, where they had the Adidas event at. I was thoroughly impressed. When I left, I said, hey, man, Spartanburg has some really nice facilities. Spartanburg does, Rock Hill does. There's some really nice facilities close. And I was like, oh, wow. And you have some good universities. You have Wofford, you have Winthrop, you have Furman. There's some really good schools in the state. And I was like, oh, that's impressive here. So,
Thank you.
I think you are definitely in good hands there. And, I always like to ask this, and, this is for people that are watching, and this is your opportunity to tell them, why Wofford?
For myself as a coach, or for our recruits?
Your recruits, I'm sorry.
For our recruits,
why Wofford?
Because when you leave, first of all, because we are doing something very special here with the women's basketball program. Mm-hmm. But Wofford in itself is a community that supports its students. So you get your professor's phone number. Your professor knows you by name. You are respected, you are treated, you are nurtured and poured into to grow. So when students leave here, they are set up for success. There's plenty of stories about that I've heard from our staff about students coming up with ideas, something as simple as bamboo glasses for when they go fishing, and it turns into $1 million project. And it all started on Wofford campus in the Career Center. So like Wofford sets its students up for success after college.
And that's one of the most important things, because we all know at some point that ball's going to stop bouncing. And the biggest thing is, has that school prepared the individual to move on to life after basketball?
Yes. I mean, because the thing is not many schools, I think, in my opinion, they prepare the student for life after basketball or life after college sports. So you, for 4 years, are treated a certain way because you're an athlete on campus, and then life dramatically changes once you walk across the stage. So I think at Wofford here, the students are lucky, and I think that they know they're lucky, so they value the opportunity.
I agree. Definitely, Wofford's definitely a good school. And I always ask every coach this, as we start to close this out, how important is it for a freshman or transfer, whoever the case, to come to Wofford and know the defensive principles for the shell drill?
It's very important because it'll be a drill that is done daily. So it is very important, a ball help deny and shooting the gap and all of those things are. So I encourage other coaches that are preparing their students to come to a college or university to teach those little things, because it will help them get playing time or succeed early.
Absolutely. And boy, that right there, I could clip and play that 100 times over, because don't get me wrong, I'm not against zone, but you need to know man principles, because when you come to college and things are so different, there's the expectation, okay, let's jump right into the shell drill. Now, people may run variations of it, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But if you go out there and say, Coach, what's that? Then I'm like, oh, okay. You step to the side, we're going to have to put Coach such and such on you to teach you this as well, because we don't have time to do that right now, but that's going to be something you're going to have to do after practice.
For sure. It's not something that's going to be taught during practice to you.
Exactly. And, I'd like to hold high school and AAU coaches accountable for that as well, because, it's more than just, at least from the AAU side, it's more than just exposure. You're supposed to be able to show that you run different systems and that they can adapt to different styles, because that's what you're looking for when you're recruiting them, correct?
For sure, you want to see how they fit different systems and how, maybe you play this coverage this way because this athlete's in, or you play this coverage this way because now you've subbed them out and subbed someone else in. So it's very important that you're like a sponge and you can shift to different defenses.
I couldn't agree more with you. You hit it right on the head with that. And, I always ask these questions because I like to really hunker down to let people know how important it is. And it's not just me harping about it, but when every coach is saying the same thing, yes, it's important. It's important for our program. You should know this. You should know variations of this at the very least. Hopefully it hits home sometime. Hopefully.
I hope so.
Coach, listen, thank you so much for coming on. And congratulations, number one. You just got there, because if I'm not mistaken, when we first connected, you were going on vacation, right?
Oh no, I was living and coaching in Hong Kong. So
yeah, that's right. No, I thought you were on vacation. I was like, oh wow, okay.
No, I was living and coaching there, and then this opportunity presented itself. So very thankful to be here.
Definitely, and I know you're going to do great things there, and this will not be the last time you're on the show. And with Wofford being what 2.5 hours from Atlanta, I'm definitely going to come up there and catch the game. I'll catch up with the SID to get my credential as usual, and I want to see those all conference players, because you guys are going to be good this year, definitely.
For sure. Let us know when you're coming, and thank you very much.
Oh, anytime. And we'll be talking to you again real soon. You take care, okay?
All right, you too.
All right. Coach Ross, I'm telling you guys, Wofford is going to be one of those teams to watch. They're going to be fun to watch, and they're good. So they've set a tone for people to say, okay, this wasn't a one-off. They have all conference players coming back. They have really good transfers stepping in. And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised when it comes time for the NCAA to announce a team that Wofford is one of them. That's going to cut the show short for tonight. Unfortunately, I got to go get my big fella. He's at his little high school practice, so we had to cut this show short. We're going to have a really good show next week as well. I got some really good guests lined up. As usual, thank you guys for tuning in to Hoops Hidden Gems. When you guys see me at all these events, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. I'm approachable. I'm not one of those cold guys. I just like when I'm talking to the coaches are very warm to me. I'm warm to you guys. The platform is built to the point where some of you guys have been gracious enough to approach me now, and I appreciate that. But listen, I'll be at Run for the Roses. I'll be at War Games. I'll be at a number of events. I'll be at the Boys Live Period here in Atlanta in July. I'll be at the GBCA team camp for boys and girls in Georgia. So the girls are holding their first team camp. There's going to be 108 teams this year. That's going to be huge, and there's going to be a number of coaches there. I can't wait to check that out, as well as the boys team camp, which is one of the best ones in the country. Last year, there was over 175 coaches there, along with SUV TV, and they're looking to knock it out of the park again. So if you guys see me at any of these events, on the radar, the GBCA team camp, boys and girls, any of these events, usually I'll have either a Hoops Hidden Gems shirt on, or I'll just have one of these solid color shirts on. Come say hi. I don't bite. That'll do it for tonight's show. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you again next Monday. You take care.